We're going to go ahead and call the Code Enforcement Board hearing for Lake Clark Shores to order October 27th at 6:30 p.m.
Roll call.
Would you like to call roll, please?
Yes.
Emily?
Paul Hughes,
Present.
Benjamin Hartman,
Present.
Ariel Hernandez, Gerard Sanchez,
Present.
Robert Gonzalez, Deb Moody,
Present.
Debbie Gregorian.
Thank you. We'll stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. I second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business is consent agenda, which includes the approval of the minutes of the September 22nd meeting, any unfinished cases now in compliance, or any new cases now in compliance. Dana, do we have any?
Yes. On the very first page, case number 21-0376, Michael Steen and Teresa Weibel. That is placed into compliance.
Okay.
On the second page, where it says number 9, the continued cases, right below that, 21-0314, the estate of Mary A. Webb, 1819 Antigua Road, is placed into compliance. But for the record, Mrs. Alvarez is here to speak on behalf of that. So when we get to it, you don't want to skip.
Okay.
And then on to page 3, second case, 21-0319, Susan E. Downing, 1416 Arabian Road East, is in compliance. Right below it, case number 21-0348, Valerie Sirigatis. If I say that right, I apologize. Placed into compliance. And then the case right below it, I'm going to go ahead and place that into compliance because the guys have been there all day resodding the entire property. The only area that's not sodded is where they broke a sprinkler pump when they graded it, and they're fixing that. So
Okay.
we'll say that one's in compliance. And that would be all of the cases in compliance.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as
So
amended.
moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business is disclosure of visits. The chair would ask that any of the board members that have had any verbal discussions or visits with the properties that are going to come before us tonight that might influence your visit or your opinion, excuse me. If you would please let us know at the time we visit the case. The next item of business would be swearing in of the witnesses by the town attorney. If anyone is going to speak before the board tonight, if you would please stand and be sworn in by the town's attorney.
Over this way. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Alvarez, would you like to? I'm going to let you lead off.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. First of all, let me commend you all for your public service. I've had the privilege and honor of serving on many state commissions and boards as a volunteer, and I know how hard we work and how much effort we put into the job, and you are too, keeping the town beautiful.
Thank you.
So, thank you. So, I don't know if you remember I started off with my sad story of this little car, this cute little car. I received a notice of violation in a month when I had 3 members in hospitals and ICUs and 1 death from COVID. And it was a terrible summer. So, but about the end of June, one of my neighbors had asked to buy the car, and I gave it to him at the end of June. But guess what? Then I couldn't find the title. You can't give a car away without a title. You can't do anything with a car without a title. It was my mother's car, my father's. I didn't have the title. So I did obtain a duplicate title in August. I signed it over to my neighbor officially. He thought he would be able to just drive it away immediately. I told you I had taken the battery out to prevent my 90-some-year-old mother and her boyfriend from driving it. Well, he was not. There were some difficulties. So after the last meeting, title was signed over on August 20th to him. And I forgot the date I sent you.
That would be October 13th.
Yes, he sent me a text that it was gone finally. So it's been an interesting little saga between all of us, my deceased parents and my wonderful neighbor and myself. And so I think some members of the Code Enforcement Board last month's meeting, and I could not come in July or August. I just really could not. You cannot deal with code enforcement when you're dealing with dying relatives, to tell the truth. Suggested that I come back this month tonight, and perhaps you might entertain some sort of a forgiveness policy or something. I don't know exactly what your terminology would be. But if you were so inclined to do that, that would be welcome to me. Do you have any other questions? I do have the duplicate title I signed over to
Your neighbor.
and a bill of sale and paperwork. Car only had 66,000 miles on it. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to save it. But anyway,
I spoke to your neighbor
yes,
and he told me as soon as he got back from vacation, he took care of it.
yes, he did. So thank
So,
you. He was on.
Thanks to both of you.
Oh,
The question here tonight would be that we've imposed a fine of $25 a day until compliance is achieved. And what date do we have, Dana, as a compliance?
October 13th.
October 13th. From when?
Emily gave us
Here,
a little
it's on the sheet.
timeline,
Oh,
if it helps you.
Yes.
On the very first one is Mrs. Alvarez's.
August 25th. So Ms. Alvarez is asking for forgiveness. Any comments or questions?
Are there any administrative costs that have gone into this in any way, shape, or form?
No.
My thought would be that the item is cleaned up, it's taken care of. We've achieved our goal and collective compliance. I'd be willing to make a motion to relinquish the fine in its entirety.
That's your motion?
I would be willing to do so unless there's any discussion
Is there any
and or
other-
input.
No, I'll second that. I agree. I did the same.
Deb?
I would be in favor of that.
Okay. And you've seconded the motion, Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like me to state that a little bit more
Go ahead.
clearly? In case number 21-0314, I find that we are, the state of Mary Webb is now in compliance of section 125-767 sub B sub 7, and that this board entertain motion to relinquish and eliminate the existing fine.
Second,
I
Jerry?
second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone against the motion? Motion carries.
thank you very much. I
Ms.
appreciate
Alvarez,
it.
thank you for coming back and talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you for your work.
Sorry for everything you've gone through.
Pardon?
Sorry for everything that you've been going through. So just thank you for taking care of everything.
Thank
So
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Dana, is there anyone here that we should take next?
So if you want to go back up to the first case, the John Gigliotti Trust, there are individuals that are here to speak on that.
Okay,
And if we can, so that they don't need to sit through the whole meeting, can we go ahead and go to the new cases for the new cases on the property? And
Page 5.
Right.
I can pretty much speak, I'll give the testimony for that, and then I can kind of lump them together to speak about them, because they're all
Okay.
kind of in the same, and then they can explain further.
Okay, so we'll do 210377 first.
So for that case, Paul Gigliotti, who had been coming to the meetings for another case, he passed away. I think did we discuss that at the last meeting?
I think you
No.
might have-
Okay, so it's been since that. So he passed away. I recently learned of, I think I provided testimony where I reached out to a Courtney Kemp because one of our council members thought that it was hers. Well, I reached back out to her and she was able to help me locate Mrs. Joy Gigliotti, who was part of the trust with Paul Gigliotti. So she kind of just learned of all of this stuff in the last couple weeks, maybe a little less than that. So I did speak with her today, and she had let me know some of the things that she was doing, getting estimates, see what she needs to do. And she's made it quite clear that she's going to work on whatever she needs to. And I recommended that she come here, and she did. And also for the record, she was in Staten Island, New York, and she came here. So there's that. And then do you want me to give the testimony for the other so we don't have to make her
Sure.
come to or stand at the podium the whole
That's
time?
page
Do I have
5.
to show pictures, Dana?
Yes, there's, I just took a whole bunch of pictures. Also, for the record, she allowed me to go onto the property today.
Okay. And we're going to talk about case 210419. Deterioration in front door and disrepair.
On September 14th of 2021, at approximately 8:00 a.m., I issued the property located at 7523 Pine Tree Lane a violation for the deterioration of the front door, sections 3419 subsection 3 and 3420, as well as the violation for the metal antenna in the rear of the property was leaning. I kind of figured it'd be a safety issue. And I put that under nuisance section 34-20.
Mm-hmm.
Then on October 18th of 2021 at 1:25 PM for those same violations, I posted them on the front door of the property. And Emily has the photo. And then these are just photos that I walked around. She just got here recently. So they did put something in front of the front door to kind of, it was kind of like kicked in a little bit. So they put something there to just, so that's not such an eyesore. And then they did take the antenna down. They've got it laying in the backyard right now, but there's still a little bit of a portion. I don't know if it has electric to it, or I don't even know if the house has electric. So they can pretty much explain further. But again, she let me have access to get the photos to show you what she's got to work with.
Ma'am, would you like to come up and tell us where we are to the best of your ability?
Thank you so much for seeing me. And then I apologize for.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Joyce Gigliotti. I am the sister of Paul Gigliotti, the niece of John Gigliotti.
Okay.
I was led to believe that things were being done with the house. I had no idea that this had gone on.
Mhm.
And then when Paul passed away, I didn't even know that he passed away. He was found in the house. So that's why the door was kicked in. He had a lot of problems, and he was trying very hard to do the things that he was supposed to be doing, but he had problems. And from what I understood, he was taking care of things, and he didn't want me to come down. And so I am here now, and I will take care of everything that needs to be done to bring the house up to code. And I apologize for any inconvenience or things that the neighbors had to deal with.
I think one of the questions that will be asked to you is, first, I'm sorry for your loss. is when you think you might be able to take care of these things.
I mean, I'm going to start this week. This week we're starting to get, people are coming in. I'm already getting estimates for the clean. Unfortunately, my Uncle John was a hoarder. Okay. And I mean, like television show hoarder. This is the first time that I've seen the place in years, and it's a job. But I'm going to take care of it as soon as possible.
Are you going to be staying down here or?
I'm going to be here until Friday,
Mhm.
but I have my sisters with me, my sister Courtney, and Howard is going to help. And so we're going to take care of the situation as soon as possible.
Okay.
All right. And I'm like, I feel really bad for the neighbors that had to deal with this. I'm very sorry about that. I had, if I had any idea, I would have come sooner.
Any questions for Ms. Gigliotti?
Do both your family or friends live down here also, or they also?
Yeah, they live
up at-
here. They live
They
here.
live here. So I guess the time frame, and I guess you've been inside, I mean, what do you estimate, or the two in the back, if they stood up, estimate to have this?
I was just in the house just now. I took pictures inside. If you want to see them there, it's really bad. I mean, we got to call the hazmat team. And the hazmat team, as soon as they get, a signed contract, they said could take up to a week to get it all cleaned up and get everything in order and
But we've made progress
sanitize it.
so far as of yesterday and today, getting these estimates. So there's progress being made on getting these estimates. And then after that, it's just a matter of getting them in the house and having the process, go through the process, like of getting it all fixed. The house it's basically, it's a dumpster inside a house.
Yeah.
Right.
We've never
With a
seen
little
this
short
before.
pathway.
Yeah, we've never seen it before. This is like new to us. Like she said, Paul Jr. was supposed to be taking care of things after his uncle died. And apparently he wasn't doing anything. I'm sure he passed, when we saw the inside of the house, he was living in there. We don't know what caused his death, but if you want to see some crazy pictures, we had no idea this was going on and had been going on for more than a few years. So,
Right.
I'm actually not only a friend of the family, I'm the real estate agent that's going to be involved to help, sell the place and, so someone can come in and rebuild it ground up. So we're going to try to do that as quickly as possible.
Ma'am, you can sit if you'd like.
I'm sorry.
That's
No, we're
okay.
sorry for the loss of your family. That's twice. So
She's been through a lot and, we're here to help her and, unfortunately, she's not rich either. So, that's another issue is we have to come up with the money.
Gotcha.
So, in the meantime, we're going to pitch in and at least try to clean up around the outside, maybe mow the weeds if there's not even a lawn there. And, we're going to put a lock on the door so nobody gets in there. And who knows what would happen if somebody got in there? They'd probably drop dead too, which is really bad. But, she needs time. So, I mean, she's at your mercy right now as to what kind of time you can give her. But she's actually they got a loan in her house in Staten Island to be able to do all this. Even though we're going to be helping her at least make it look reasonable on the outside.
Well, we appreciate you coming and sharing that with us.
The next meeting just is not until December 8th.
Yeah.
So that's a little plus, and I would be more than happy to come out to the property and show you, because the violations, like getting a dumpster would be a start, and then having your crew, but I'll show you what you need to clean up and, whatever we can do to help.
Several dumpsters. They said it's going to take a week.
Well, for
to get rid of the garbage.
yes, but for the stuff here is what the public can see. The inside isn't exactly like, I don't have a right to open the door, take photos and say, hey. So it's more or less on the outside to bring it into compliance for violations. And like the antenna that's, you started it. And like I was telling you on the phone, the front door, the town's not going to tell you to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do the door, but you can maneuver to fix it, I'm sure, to bring that, but I can go over all that with you.
Yeah, if you go over that with us,
Yeah.
that's what we need to do, because she has to go home, she has to work, she has business, she has to make money to do.
That's
all
fine,
that.
I can meet with you,
So, yeah.
whatever
I'm
works.
here all the time, I'll give you my card. You can
Okay.
Call me anytime, like I said.
That's fine.
Basically my family.
I'm curious,
No problem.
and being that you're a real estate agent, is there enough, and I don't know, but equity in the property where, and maybe you have contractors or people you work with being in that business, that they would be willing to, like, get paid at time of closing? Is it something that, is there anything that could be worked out? I mean, you guys,
There's people right now ready to buy the place. I mean, they're coming tomorrow to start looking. I mean, I actually have people, ready to roll.
Okay.
They're ready to like dig the whole place out and go around it and they'll go, they know they're gonna have to go to work as soon as possible. The problem is we didn't know there were these fines or anything. We didn't know about the citations.
Right.
We didn't know about anything until she got here the other day.
okay.
We just didn't know. If we would have known, I would have ran over there right away and to help Joy out, I would have just kicked Paul out before he, unfortunately passed away, but probably.
And I think he was a
By getting out of there.
So let's take one case at a time.
Yeah.
We have three for Mr. Gigliotti. Let's take 210377. Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we give them some time to, obviously, being that this is now the second death within this family and what contending with this same house, and give her, being that she's from New York, to our next meeting, December 8th. And that we would need to have status of where we're at, as long as the code has been up to, by December 8th, what we have listed here, which is section 34-20, 34-19, property kept in a manner which causes nuisance to other properties, rats, trash. So that's, basically what you guys see out there. So that could be done quickly. And then if you wouldn't mind us, one of you three, come back October 8th
December 8th.
or December 8th, October 8th. Sorry about that. December 8th. To give us status. I don't think any kind of fine for right now. As you can see, we just care that, one, that our homeowners are taken care of and that the homes are kept and maintained. So, and obviously you've got a lot to contend with. So appreciate the three of you being here and that you even flew down from New York. So our heart goes out to you.
We actually just found her cousin, nephew today. We didn't even know where he was.
So my brother.
The brother, not the brother. We didn't even know where he was today. The one that passed away.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to restate the motion here.
Yeah.
The motion is that by Mr. Gonzalez is that the property in case 210377 continues to not be in compliance, and that a fine of $50 a day may be imposed until compliance is achieved, and this board give the family time to come into compliance, and that you appear, one of the family members appear at our next meeting, December 8th, to give us an update on your progress. Is
I
that
second that.
okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
The refrigerator that's shown in the pictures, is that on this violation or is it on one of the new
That-
ones?
It's just.
I'm just thinking that ought to be taken care of right away.
The one on the front, on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just thinking that in my head. How am I gonna get?
sort of a
There's like a
safety
wash
issue.
machine on the side.
Yeah, I think,
From the street too, washing machine, 'cause I fall-
No, all of these photos I could only get by walking on the property.
Oh, yeah.
I might be able to get one from the
It's
water,
there.
but she was nice enough to allow me to go.
Yeah,
Not the
the stuff on the cosmetic stuff on the outside, I'm gonna try to take care of as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm just concerned for the refrigerator being a safety issue with kids in the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, I think the motion's been seconded.
Yeah.
Correct? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll go to case number
Wanting his information.
2104.
210419. Deterioration / front door and disrepair, hole in the bottom section of the door. I think we've gotten all the information we probably need from the family, so
Is it okay if we like put a panel across that and just make
Paint it?
pretty it up until we can sell the house? Yeah. Yeah, I'll just put some paneling over it and pretty it up. Just so it doesn't look like a disgusting mess.
That would be fine.
would anyone like to make a motion?
Sure. Case number 21-0419, John Gigliotti, trustee of the John Gigliotti Trust. I move that the board find this in violation of section 34-19 sub 3, 34-20, and that the respondent be given until the December 8th meeting to come into compliance and at least report back on progress.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
You're not placing any fine, okay. Okay, the motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next one, 210420.
I'd be happy to replicate that.
Okay,
In case 21-0420, John Gigliotti, trustee of the John J. Gigliotti Trust, find that this board find in violation of section 34-20 and that the respondent be given until the December 8th meeting to come into compliance and report back on progress.
is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
I just want to ask Dana, that antenna, I don't even know how tall it is, or is it?
So the antenna has been taken down,
Okay.
but there's like still a portion in the back. It looks like he's probably got to just finish up and then he laid in the ground, but they'll probably, like she said, dispose of all that stuff.
Can't damage anybody else's property fence.
It's not up there anymore.
Okay.
It's just the portion in the back is, not the front. But I wouldn't know that because I walked on it. From the front, it's gone.
Okay.
The part that you would really have to worry about is gone.
Okay.
Okay, the motion's been moved and seconded. Are you ready to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. You guys okay with everything?
Thank you so much.
Okay. We'll see one of you at December 8th. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help. Okay. Dana, is there anyone else here
Courtney
that's
told
gonna
me
be-
Joyce had it.
talking with us tonight? Are you all?
So the
And what are you here for?
the attorney, Robert Gonzalez, that was trying to
417,
buy the property from Paul.
416.
Bridget Keating,
Yes.
it's the third one from page 5.
He
Okay.
did tell me the attorney.
That's a new case. We'll go ahead and take that. Ma'am, would you like to come up here and
So I have
and,
to go to the next case, but you guys can give me a call.
talk to us? Apparently there was or is a sandbag retaining wall without a permit.
Yeah, well,
And you are, for the record?
I am Bridget Keating and I live at 7205 Pine Tree Lane.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a retired firefighter. I love first of all, I love your community and that's why I moved here. I created a retaining wall, a retaining barrier from a landscaping company to prevent the soil erosion from my lake. I did not realize that constituted required a permit or anything else. I was, when Lieutenant Fisher contacted me, I subsequently started working with Mary Ramirez and I submitted the land use application and the fee. Then subsequently, they kept asking for more and more documents. I submitted a rendering. It's not an official engineering rendering, but it's very professional looking. And they came back and said, no, we need the engineering drawings. I was hoping that you could work with me because it's a very detailed oriented document, as well as I got pictures during the whole process of when I built this. And it's not sandbags, it's actually concrete, 80-pound concrete bags. and they're stacked 3 feet high. They cantilever back into the property and are secured. And once that's all, you see the pictures there. I had Manny, I believe, came out today,
Yeah, Manny.
and he said it looked very structurally sound. My intent was to keep it environmentally friendly, which the concrete bags are. It's structurally sound through the rebar has been impacted. A 10-foot bar has been impacted 50%. So it's been 5 feet into the ground with clean gravel, then the concrete bags, and then it's backfilled with clean gravel as well, soil, then sod. Eventually that grass is going to grow completely over the concrete bag. So all you will see is the grass. It's very environmentally friendly. And that was my intent. That I pride myself in the property, keeping the property looking well. And I think I've improved it since I've been there. And that's my whole intent. I'm just hoping that you can work with me as far as the drawings, as that's the only thing I think that's really holding up. I don't mind submitting the building, a building permit and whatever else I need to do, but it's the drawings that are holding me up, I believe. So now I don't remember who is the new person I'm dealing with.
Mary Pinkerman?
I guess Mary Pinkerman. So I know there's a new Mary. So I started working with her. Other than that, I have a packet of what I did. I don't know if you already have pictures, because I think that's what Manny must have taken today.
Yeah.
So I have additional pictures if you want see the whole process. I have multiple packets. If not, I'm just asking that you work with me to do whatever I need to do to clear this up.
So Dana, where we are is she's trying to obtain a permit, and once she does that, she'll come into compliance.
She can't, I'll give you the testimony too, don't let me forget. She can't get a permit until her land use is issued. So the land use is holding her up from getting a permit, from what I understand, right?
Okay. I wasn't told about that, so I don't know.
And who do you get?
I was just aware that a permit, that she needs to apply for a permit.
Yeah, no, so the town did take the funds for the land use.
Correct.
And then Mary Ramirez was going back and forth, but she's not here anymore.
Well,
And then it just kind of went to Mary Pinkerman, who was helping with the position until, it's filled. But yeah, it's always my understanding they can't get the permit because they have to have the right to use the land.
Okay.
so you're trying to do everything you can to come into compliance.
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion?
That
So,
land use permit, does that get approved by town council?
No,
No.
No.
Yeah?
Town council?
does it? Oh.
Oh, and that's not on their agenda yet, probably. It will be in November.
So you should have everything to them to be heard at the November town council meeting.
I just need to be clear of what I need, because all I have is a I think the biggest holdup is that rendering, and they wanted engineering drawings. And I would have to go to engineering and have them do it, and I think what I have should be sufficient for what I have. But if I don't get that, that's going to take me, it's going to cost me a lot of money, and it's going to take me some time to go get.
So which part is requiring that engineering? Is it the land use permit or is it the construction permit?
Maybe Mr. Clark can help us
He's
out here
coming.
with that a little bit.
Because I understood that I was creating a retention barrier more than a seawall.
The challenge here is the failure of that seawall from overturning. In other words, it's built like this. We don't want it to end up like this.
Even though it's got rebar in there and it's cantilever back and supported with another 80-pound bag every 3. And I have the pictures of where they did it.
So my suggestion, if I may make one, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is that while the land use permit is being approved by council, that we send the city engineer out to take a look at her photographs and see if he's comfortable with where it is. Generally, if you put a seawall in here, all the seawalls have to be tied back into the yard with several deadheads on a spacing of about every 15 feet. So that, I'm sure, is not in this wall, which will give us concern. The challenge is the water management district. Water management district raises the lake and then lowers the lake. If they lower the lake at too high of a rate, all of the water that's behind that wall will push it over.
It's got backfill there, and they've raised and lowered the lake several times in that whole period of time, and it hasn't moved. It's backfilled, like I said, it's got the concrete bags, then backfill, and then dirt, and then those, every 3 concrete bags, well, there's rebar in every bag. And then every 3, there's back another 80 pound along the whole wall. So it's actually leaning backwards towards the property. It's not leaning forward.
So it'll be up to the city engineer to,
Let's get the city engineer to
Yeah.
take a look at it.
Okay. So what,
May I make a comment?
sure.
I still have to give you the testimony too.
Okay, we'll get it.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say, as far as the code board goes, I think within our purview, and it does sound like, Ms. Keating, you're making every effort to come into compliance.
yes, sir.
However, in our purview, what's out of compliance is that the work was done without a permit. That said, even before hearing the testimony, I would make a recommendation that while in front of us, we'd find it not in compliance, but we would have to give substantial time, at least, again, update at the December meeting after it goes in front of council. I think that may be, as code members, the only thing we're able to do here.
Right. Dana, would you like to give your testimony?
Yes. So on June 16th of 2021, I issued the property located at 7205 Pine Tree Lane. I called it a sandbag, sorry. You correct, it's concrete bag.
It's 80 pound concrete bags.
So I will correct that. Concrete bag retaining wall installed without a permit. When I did speak with her after the violation, she didn't know that she needed a permit. She just thought, she was just putting out bags. She didn't really know.
Okay.
And this was an anonymous complaint at the time when people were allowed to file anonymous complaints. That's how I learned about it. And Manny did go out there then and just say, oh yeah, she just needs to get a permit, and that's that. Then when we went through town hall with the process, then Mary Ramirez brought up, oh, the property doesn't have a land use, which happens sometimes, but a lot of people don't know about that either, which she didn't know and she learned. But just because it was taking so long, I spoke with her. She knew, it wasn't a surprise. On October 18th of 2021 at 1:20 p.m. for the same violation, I posted it on the front door, which I have a photo of, but she's here too. So you have that.
Okay.
And she's been in contact with me. She hasn't blown us off or anything like that.
Okay.
My intent was to create a barrier to prevent erosion of my property, because up where the dock, where there's a walkway to the dock, was eroding all the way into my property, where it was becoming a safety issue.
Mhm.
So not only to protect my property, I was also trying to create, a non-safety hazard. Being a firefighter, a very protective, make sure that not only as a homeowner that it's protected for me, but it's also protected for anybody that comes on my property.
Right.
So I'm in the same, I understand the same, what you're trying to do, and I'm not trying to, I was just trying to, I didn't realize that this was considered a seawall. I was doing more retention and trying to beautify it and keep it environmentally friendly. That was
Seawall.
my great intent. And I love Lake Clark, so if you've seen what I've done in the front of my yard, even Lieutenant Fisher will.
It's gorgeous. Very, very pretty.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your testimony. Is there any further discussion? Ben, would you like to make a motion?
I'd be happy to. Find that based on the evidence presented in case number 21-0417, Bridget Keating, that the respondent be found in violation of section 10-91 sub A, and that we'd be given until December 8th to provide an update on the steps that you're undertaking.
Okay, and then do I need to come to the council meeting?
I would suggest you
Yeah.
come to the council meeting. Yes, ma'am.
And how do I get the engineer out there or what needs to be done, the steps to have the engineer to come out?
We'll arrange for him to come see you.
Okay.
Does she need to go to the council meeting?
No,
Okay. You don't
Okay.
need to go to the.
you don't
council
need to
meeting.
go.
So no November council meeting?
No,
Just
come
wait,
back here for the December 8th at 6:30.
And that somebody will notify
And
me.
He'll get the city engineer to come out.
Mr. Clark, the town manager.
For clarification, most of our land use permits are on consent. So there's probably really no need for you to come to the meeting.
Gotcha.
It's pretty straightforward process once all the paperwork's there. The second issue of the permit, that's what the engineer will be looking at, and we can address that issue as soon as the land use is approved.
So right now, I just gotta wait for the engineer to come out. Is that where we're at? Okay, just wanna make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Is there a second to Mr. Hartman's motion?
I'll second.
Are you ready to vote?
Yeah.
All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, Ms. Keaton. You'll work with the town engineer, and we'll see you back in December.
I'm trying, thank you.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you want to go for who's here, so he
Okay.
doesn't have to stay. On the page 5 under the new cases, case 21-0418, Mr. Vu is here. You're gonna have to help me on your name. He'll tell you.
Okay, Danny, do you want to give your testimony first?
Yes. This was also an anonymous complaint at the time when people were allowed to give anonymous complaints. On April 28th of 2021, at 6:30 PM, I issued the property located at 8048 South Lake Drive for having a pergola and a wood structure built in the rear end portion of the side of the property without a permit, section 10-91A. I did speak with him rather quickly after the violation. He kind of was going back and forth. I believe it ended up being determined that he needs a type of a variance to have it because of where it's located. So that kind of went back and forth, and then they voided the variance from what Mary Ramirez was explaining to me. So since the time lapse was going, I didn't really get any other updates. On October 18th of 2021 at 1:33 PM, I issued the same property, the hearing notice for today's meeting for the same violation. And then that's the photo that I was able to get from the street. And he's here to explain.
Is it Mr. Vu?
Yes,
Is
good
that-
evening, the chair.
Have you applied for a permit yet?
I did apply for the permit as soon as I got the first violation. I applied for a permit, and according to what I heard, for the variance, it seemed like impossible to get. So I worked with one of the general contractor. He tried to help, but then it seemed like everybody's busy and it's a small project, so it didn't get anywhere. So I built this when I just moved in March of 2020 for my kids, because there's a little jacuzzi there. I didn't realize I looked up a little bit on the code, but then I thought it's not attached to the house, I could put it in like a 6x6, 3 feet down on the ground, and put some, just some bar across. I thought no harm is done, so I just did what I did. And it seemed like applying for a variance is very hard. I have to go through the board. So I just gave up, and then I really didn't have time to take it down.
So you haven't applied for a variance yet?
I didn't really realize that my variance got voided. I thought I still need a variance, and according I have to pay a fee of about $500 for the variance, and it's like a 50-50 chance that it will get approved or not. So
Mary Ramirez had voided it, not the variance board or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not aware of that. I talked to the building official today about this. And well, first of all, we haven't received any permit application for the property. And then he told me that that it was probably in the setback where it was built, and so that they would need a variance. But again, I don't know the details where it is on the property, so.
First step is applying for a permit, right?
I did apply for a permit, and then I don't know who called me, told me that the application was expired, so I need to reapply. I think that call was about 2-3 weeks ago. That's someone told me that. I wasn't sure who it was.
When did you apply for a permit?
I turned on my permit after the first violation ticket sent to me, so I sent out the permit. The permit application.
Okay.
Was that April 28th of 21, Dana?
Yes.
So you
Mary
would,
had a bunch of stuff.
so
like,
you would have
pulled out of
done
a
it in
folder for
May
this
or
stuff.
June, something like that?
Yes,
So you applied for a permit or the variance?
the permit.
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 And you, and Emily, you're not aware of a
No,
permit
I'm
application?
not aware of, we looked at the system today and we didn't see any
It
permits.
wasn't there.
She showed
But
me
I
it
know
was
that
paperwork
usually
she
when
had
we
in her
have
hand.
permits, they expire after a certain amount of time, but I think it's kind of a while. I think it's a year. So,
All right, well, would you like to add anything else, sir?
Um,
I mean, you don't have a permit
Yes, I know.
and you don't have a variance. So you're like
I,
a step or two behind.
I am going to take it down.
You're going to take it down? Now you can apply for a permit and a variance.
If it's just a permit, then I will willing to do that. But
I mean, people do go before the town council and ask for exceptions, and
how close is it to the other property?
I think less than 4 feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty close.
Maybe could Manny go and meet with him?
I talked to Mandy too, and he told me that's the rule, 4 feet.
Right, but did he see how many feet?
No,
and-
he didn't. And I wasn't sure what I think pretty close, that I tried to maximize my pergola, so I kind of,
Mr. Vu, do you have a property survey, sir?
yes, I do, yes.
Okay.
I
Would you
also-
be,
sorry, I also turn in my property survey along with my permit with my hand drawn, because I like to build things. I like to do things, so I build the way I like it, you know. So I did try to put them in as much as I could, but then just new at this.
Well, it sounds like, you either need to take it down or
Yeah.
come into compliance and get a permit, a variance. Well, one of those two, which is, ultimately up to you, but currently your property's not in compliance.
Yes.
So,
I already took down part of the wood structure in the back along the near the seawall. I did took it down. I've been working on the whole week, took it down. This is the only thing left. She allow me to in a couple of weeks that I could do that, take it down.
my recommendation would be, again, we
your
go,
motion,
well, I'll happily make a motion.
okay?
Based on testimony and evidence presented here in case 21-0418, find the respondent in violation of section 10-91 sub A, and that the respondent be given until December 8th to come into compliance, as well as, and/or apply for a permit and a variance to keep the existing structure. As long as all those, either A, it's taken down or a permit is applied for, then no fine will be imposed. If neither of those occur, then a fine of $25 a day may be imposed.
Is there a second to Mr. Hartman's motion?
Actually, I would increase the fine,
Is there a second, or do you want to amend the motion?
amend the motion.
Okay, you want to amend the motion
I
to,
would just rather raise it up to 50. 50, I'll just, because obviously, we've got time and nothing's being done, so
okay. So your motion is to amend the main motion to $50 a day fine,
correct.
or a $50 a day fine may be imposed. Okay, we're going to vote on is there a second to Mr. Gonzalez's motion?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Mr. Chair,
yes, ma'am.
may I just clarify one point?
Sir?
I'm pretty sure that Mary Pinkerman would not even consider a permit until the variance is approved, because there's no sense of wasting staff's time. So his choice really is either decide to apply for the variance or pull the building down.
Rather than the permit. Are you okay with that, Mr. Hartman?
I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, so we're going to vote on the amendment, which we have a second to.
Yes.
All those in favor of Mr. Gonzalez's amendment to the main motion, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we're going to vote on the main motion, which I don't think needs to be repeated, does it?
It may, because I think I did say apply for a permit, so we may have to amend that to apply for a variance.
The chair
And then a
will,
permit.
the chair will accept,
Potentially.
There you go.
the chair will accept a word change there from permit to variance if there's no objection.
As long as he immediately applies for the permit once the variance is granted. He could get the variance and then not move forward with permitting and
We'll
we're back
have
to square
to-
one.
The 8th to get an update there.
Can this be accomplished by December 8th? They ain't no way, right?
Probably not because of when the zoning board meets.
The zoning board meets only every other month. And once the zoning board meets, they're an advisory committee to council, so then it has to go to council for it to be approved. So it's probably realistically a 4-month process.
Really? Mr.
But we
Wu,
could
which way you want to go?
Mr. Chair, it makes it easy for you. I'm gonna take it down. But give me to December.
It's your choice, so
Yeah.
no one's,
I don't,
but he's just telling you what.
Well, we have to give you your options.
yes, I'm gonna take
Okay.
it down, but I'm just asking for some time because
Okay, so you think you could take it down in the next few weeks?
I am currently tiling my house right now. So
Can you do it by December 8th?
yes, I can do that.
Okay. Mr. Hunt, would you like to withdraw your motion? And if
Sure.
there's no objection, we'll entertain a new motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Based on the testimony and evidence presented in case 21-0418, board finds the respondent in violation of section 10-91 sub A, and the respondent is given until December 8th to come into compliance, or a fine of $50 a day may be imposed.
A second.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So Mr. Burdette, basically that gives you till December 8th to take care of it.
Sure, I will get it done.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good
You
night.
too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Dana. Mr. Trent is here, so if we could go to his case so he doesn't have to sit here.
Okay, Mr. Trent, 210358.
210356.
6, I'm sorry.
I didn't hear my number called. That's why I didn't.
Ms. Fisher is going to give some testimony here and
So I took a photo, which Emily could pop up in a second. I don't know how nitpicky we wanted to be. There's like the tiniest section, but I don't know if that, I'm glad he's here. It almost looks like it's partial asphalt. So I don't even know if
Let
you
me
could
start
put
off by
sod
saying-
on there.
well, Dana, do you have anything
So,
else?
no, that's all. I'm
Okay.
glad he's here to explain because it's hard for me to tell, but he would know.
Your floor, Mr. Trent.
Basically, that's my driveway.
Oh, you have a grass driveway?
No, it was actually crushed asphalt,
Oh,
and it's been there for years and years and years.
okay.
But some weeds grow in and some weeds grow out. And that's where I park my vehicles because I have a truck. And many, many years ago, there was an ordinance about if you had a truck, it had to be parked behind your property, behind the front of your house. So I always kept my truck over there. And also you see my car hauler trailer sitting back there.
Mhm.
So instead of causing any trouble, I just went and got grass and covered it up. And it just hasn't grown in
Completely.
completely. Grass grows at its own time.
Yeah, it's going to slow up now.
Well, I have sprinklers.
He has 2 lots and it is, that's just the. little-
Yeah, that's
why I'm
actually,
saying Where,
back there by the yellow fence, there's a slab, and just to the west of that slab is where the property line is. So it's actually 2 regular sized lots. Mr. Rhodes, many, many years ago, told me I could put the slab there if it could be taken out. And obviously it can be taken out.
Okay.
So I didn't know, like, in the front where you see where there's closer to the road,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if he can put sod there. That's why, so if it's crushed asphalt, he might not be able to put sod over it. So
I mean,
that's the only area
would-
that I can see. The rest of it,
Has he
you can
put
see it's
sod down?
Oh, yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
And I was using, like I said, now I'm afraid to drive on it because the heat of the motor and the tires ruins it.
Where are you going to park?
I had to park in the driveway,
Good idea.
but that puts me out in front of the house.
What kind of
But it doesn't seem to bother anybody because everybody has trucks now and they're all parked
Yeah,
in front of the house.
Well, you can park in your driveway,
You
right?
can park in your driveway.
What kind
Well,
of
the
truck
only
is it?
difficulty I have is if I want to use the car, now I have
You gotta
to move
move
the
'em.
truck. And then I have to, it was,
Well,
He has a small driveway.
It's, yeah, I mean, that's your,
oh yeah, it's a single car garage.
that's your option. Questions, comments?
Can that not be sodded?
Oh, sure. We're talking about 4 or 5 pieces of sod.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. So that's all he has left.
Well, it seems
It
like.
was, it was sodded from the front sign all the way back to the third sign.
Mhm.
I
But you
just
ran
didn't
out
want
of
my, I
sod.
didn't want my yard guy up on it until it took hold.
Would anybody like to make a motion? I mean, the property's, in my view, still not quite in compliance.
I agree. I can take a stab at this.
Go ahead, Deb.
Okay, I would recommend an order finding violation of case number 210356, Samuel R. Trent Jr., Samuel R. Trent Jr. Living Trust, dated October 30th, 2000, for 1801 Carandus Road. A finding of noncompliance of section 3420, 3419-3, ungrassed area on the property, and give the respondent until December 8th to correct the violation by installing sod, or an order adding a fine in the amount of $25 per day would be asked.
Be imposed or
Be
may, or
imposed,
maybe,
may be imposed.
may be imposed. Okay.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Gonzalez seconds. Anything further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So Mr. Trent, you have till December 8th to fix that.
Okay, so you just want me to completely sod the area that's exposed and we're
Yeah,
done?
and Ms. Fisher
Yes,
can help you with it.
Call me before the meeting so that way I can go out, check it, and then let you know so you know whether you have to come here again.
Maybe she can also help you advise
I can help.
where it needs it the most.
Oh, it'll be done before she gets there.
Terrific.
All right?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Who seconded the motion?
I did.
Okay.
Sanchez.
Mr.
Thank you.
Sanchez. Okay, now, we've been jumping back and forth here. Let's see.
So you have, back on page 2,
Right,
Jack Basilone and Kevin McClatchy.
right.
That's where
Ms.
we would
Fisher,
be.
Oh, I thought the famous bull fence.
So as of, I have a recent photo. I took it at 11:08 this morning. There has been some progress. They have started putting up the fence. The orange fencing is still there. And then you can see there's a whole bunch more sections. I did not make it back out there again. I had to go back to the Carandus one right before the meeting.
we don't have a current picture. Oh, there it is.
That I have as of 11:08 this morning when I took the photo.
So they're making progress.
Oh, yes.
Has anybody contacted you?
No. Not since the very beginning. I mean, I know that it's a rental and they do not live here or they were away, because I do remember him saying he worked with Brown, Harris, and Stevens, which is very well known.
Mhm.
Is that orange fence? I mean, is the
That's
pool
where
still
the pool
exposed?
is.
Right, that's where the pool, but
Right.
is it around the whole pool or it
It's
looks like-
around the pool. Yeah, they
So
kept
that-
it up there.
That has to be there until the,
Right.
Yes,
the
that
fence
would
is-
be-
the pool is completely
until the
encircled.
fence is done, correct.
and they're actively working on putting up the fence.
Yes.
Okay.
And they are aware that there's a daily fine running, right?
So at one of the other meetings, when I provided testimony, I remembered I called him as a courtesy after several meetings ago to let him know before the orange fencing was put up. And I had let him know, and he was supposed to tell me when the orange fencing was put up, but he didn't. And I happened to notice it when I was traveling through there, and I was like, oh, let me stop his fines. That was when you guys did that 225. That was the last time I ever spoke with anybody. But
Well,
since
it's
then they got
listed
the
on here
permit.
twice that, and one is in
Right.
compliance on August 16th,
That's
but,
the orange fencing.
Yeah.
right. But we imposed a new fine per day until the permanent fence passes the final inspection.
Right.
So that's still continuing
It's
to
still
run.
running.
Yes.
Yeah, but this says that the total fine amount due for the temporary fence is $4,500. He hasn't come in and asked us to
No.
waive that.
There's my problem with this circumstance. And I try not to provide opinion, but at this juncture,
We want your opinion.
having owned rental property, having worked as a property manager, and looking at this, unfortunately, I find it disrespectful that zero communication has happened. And I have a challenge with that.
He did in the beginning. I just don't know whatever happened. I mean, we
But
leave
the
the
follow
orders there.
back, they're obviously working towards it, and he's more than likely very well aware of the circumstance and the progress in the work. And I'm sure he has his tenants reporting at least certain things back to him. It'd be really easy to make a simple phone call, even if he's out of the area, and provide an update. So I do have an issue with that.
And the,
I'm very tempted to kick this out of here and give it to town council and record the lien.
the new fence that's being installed does have a permit issued, right?
Yes. Emily
Have they
told us
had
that at
any
at
inspections?
one of the other
Sorry,
meetings.
I wasn't listening. What did you say?
At one of the last meetings, you had given a list of the people who had permits, and this was one of them. I don't remember if it was last meeting or the one prior.
Yes, he has a permit. It was issued on September 27th, and there hasn't been any final inspection done.
I mean, it's irresponsible of an owner, any owner, I don't care who you are, I don't care if you're Elon Musk with $100 million. You've got a $20,000 plus fine accruing on a daily basis right now. To not communicate or make a phone call is disrespectful.
Also, this has been going, I mean, how long does it take to put up a fence? Are they doing this? Is this like a permit that they're doing it themselves or they have a company doing it? I'm just
I'm
curious.
pretty sure he has a company.
Yeah.
I know myself, I recently put up a very small fence, but it took from the time I signed the contract, the permit was issued like that,
Yes.
but the contractor took another 2.5 months before they actually got there and did the installation. So,
That's all well and good, but again,
But
he's got a
communicate.
But he didn't tell me
$20,000
anything.
fine running and accruing on a daily basis. To make a phone call and give a report on progress is going to take 2 minutes of his time and save him a world of trouble.
when the board has an order, is that mailed to
So
the
on-
homeowner?
on property, and we hand deliver them unless something, I mean, they're left at the door.
I know your violations are, but I mean the orders of the
yes.
board.
Now, the address, I could look it up really quick now, because it still has homestead and everything, but he does not live there.
Well,
but
and that's
it's-
also something that
No,
property
but it's
appraisers
because it's,
need
yeah,
to
but,
know.
but sometimes they take time to update stuff.
Yeah,
And the property was previously homesteaded, so it's probably just
Right.
still showing that. But let me see if it's changed. I didn't have any other address for him or anything, and
So he never had the the homeowner's not had the courtesy to call you,
No,
nothing.
I haven't talked to him since one of the last testimonies when I've said I've talked to him.
He's had your telephone number, email, I
Well,
guess.
he's reached out to me in the beginning before, so yes.
So,
And it's all in all the documents.
so if we split this in two, Mr. Hartman, you could easily impose the $4,500 lien,
Yes.
and you could continue
You can continue the other one.
the
I'll second that.
Yeah.
I'll go with that.
It still shows, that's why I was saying with the homestead, Alfonso Ulier. It doesn't have his name, so he didn't apply for that, but it has his mailing address of 1405. So he's never given me anything else. I don't have anything to go by.
Is that the previous owner or
Yes,
this current?
That's the previous one. So like when you buy your home. your
But usually
homestead-
within 30 days, your deed is recorded and the property
So-
appraiser's office
On
is
the
updated.
the property appraiser's office is most times slower.
On the
Usually
recorded
30 days.
deed.
I work in the building department in Palm Beach and I look at that stuff every day.
So on the recorded deed, it uses the property address as his mailing address.
Yes. And he bought the house in April of this year. There was a screen enclosure there. And he took it down.
So I typically like to keep everything with us so we can work with the homeowners as we have this evening. But yeah, I have no problem imposing a lien, at least for the first portion of fine that it could have very easily been, hey guys, I'm working towards this. Here's my progress. Here's what I'm doing. Work with me. So I have no problem sending him to town council.
I would second that.
okay. So,
That's for the $4,500 portion, right?
so the motion is to impose $4,500
Lien.
lien on the property due to the temporary fence.
No,
Well,
that one is
Prior-
putting a temporary fence, right? Because he did put it up, but we
no,
charged,
the one around the pool.
right, the
So
orange
he
one.
came into compliance, but the fine was
Alright.
there until he came in.
Right.
It took him almost 30 days to come into compliance
Wow.
for that, which is why
Well,
it,
he didn't tell me when he did it. Like I said, it was just
Right.
it's just a common courtesy thing that if I notice a violation is taken care of, I stop the fines.
Mhm.
But that's only if I notice, and I did notice his.
he's lucky that you did.
Yes.
So, do you have a second? Your motion was to impose the lien.
That's correct.
I'll second that.
There's a second. Any further discussion on imposing the $4,500 lien? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That motion carries. Now, is there a motion to continue the $250 a day fine until the permanent fence receives final inspection?
Yeah.
Do we have to make a motion to continue that current fine? Or do we make a motion to just continue it until the December meeting? And you're notified when the final inspection passes?
Since it's running, I'm not sure if we have to do anything. there.
I don't think we have to.
Okay,
Are we right?
Yeah, I think that's correct. As long, if the fine is running by a prior order, you don't need to do anything
okay.
and they have to comply to stop it.
So, so they're not gonna be on the next agenda or?
Well, shouldn't we have him or Dana? I don't know if we can have them be here by
Well,
December 8th for the next
We
meeting.
have to bring it back.
I would strongly recommend on their behalf that
I
they
didn't
do
see
this
the
because
number.
at least from my current research, I'm not finding any recorded mortgages against the property. Therefore, now with the town having a lien, they could have real issues should the town decide not to be fair with them. So
Okay.
I
So
would
he paid-
strongly recommend them
cash.
cooperating.
So is there a motion to bring this back to the December 8th meeting?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay. Motion seconded.
yes.
All
In
those
favor.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. You okay with that, Emily?
Yeah, so it's going to be a motion to continue until the next meeting for
Yes.
just that one.
Yes. And that the lien be recorded on the 1st.
Right.
Okay. Good. I think the next one is Shannon Logsdon.
Yes. I have not spoken with Miss Logsdon since we saw her at the last meeting. I did notice today the pool's still the same, so I didn't even.
No
Photos,
change.
it's the same photos, but maybe she has a permit. There's a bunch of materials that have been delivered, which I did take a picture to show. So it looks like
let's
something, because I remember she was doing the pool and I think she was doing a deck, so that has appeared.
Is there a permit
But
that's been applied for, Emily?
Yes.
Yes?
Permit was picked up on October 22nd, and no inspection has been done yet.
well, they haven't, it doesn't look like there's been any work. It looks like just materials arrived.
Right.
But the permit has been applied for.
Yeah, and it was issued. The permit has been
Sounds like
issued.
She did what we asked.
Yeah.
And there is a fine that's currently running.
Yes, you guys told her at the last meeting to just, let's focus on getting it into compliance and then she'll come back.
A motion.
That's why she's not here.
We continue.
Want to continue the case until December 8th?
Yes. Yes. And see the progress, you know.
Is there a second?
Second.
Do we want this person to come to the next meeting to bring us up to date?
Yes.
Is that part of your motion? Or you don't?
Honestly, I don't mind whether she's here or not, as
Okay.
long as we have an update on the progress of the work.
Okay. I think the motion's been moved and seconded.
Yes.
Okay, so who's the second?
One of you two,
I'll go.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Okay.
Sanchez. I don't know why you call me Gonzalez, but we all look alike.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. Madeleine Martorella?
Yes. So she actually did frantically reach out to me. She is sick. She sounded pretty sick. And she's not able to make the meeting, but she did email me the attorney's letter. I took a photo of it, or I put it in the photos for Emily, and then I have it. I don't know, do you guys want me to just read it to you? Do you want me to pass it to you guys? Which do you prefer?
You can bring it up.
I'll bring it.
That way we can make a motion to bring it into evidence.
Mm-hmm.
This was the house
Well, it
that,
goes with my.
Oh, that too.
if you refresh my memory, Dana, it's just a house that I think she had her son that came here
Yeah.
and he vouched that he was going to take, yeah, okay.
Yes, well, I think he took care of the repairs, and he thought that that was all he had to do. And then he took the tarp off, and
Visibly.
severely.
Okay. Has this person applied for a permit, Emily?
No,
No?
no.
Yeah, no, we're not even close there.
No, it's just that attorney's letter.
What they, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to bring this into evidence.
Bring the letter from,
The attorney representing her in an insurance claim.
okay. Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Is there a motion to accept this into evidence?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. So
What does the attorney say?
So it sounds like we've not made any progress.
We've got zero progress. This is very confusing. I'm going to pass the letter down because this is, Dana, when was she first noted for the violation?
April 28th is on this list.
That's good enough. So they're claiming a wind damage back in August of 2020.
February 11th of 2021 is the very first violation. Hearing notice, April 5th of 2021.
This is going nowhere.
No, I'm going to give an opinion again. This is the problem and the reason why Florida residential homeowners insurance is going too high because this is more than likely
It's a very old roof.
it's an old roof. There is no way she's getting anything from insurance out of this. And it is going to be, if it's a lawsuit, it's going to be a frivolous one where nothing is going to happen. And that just, it bothers me when things like this occur. I think it's a fruitless claim. And unfortunately, and I'm sure she's a very nice lady, she's going to be in violation, and until it is fixed, I don't see being able to put her in compliance. And there's, if she goes forward with this, the chances of there being a roof permit applied for in the next 4 to 6 months are slim to none.
So the options are to impose a lien or to continue the case. That's the way I see it. Because she's definitely still not in compliance.
Meaning we move this to the town council?
If we impose a lien, we move it to town council.
And the link,
Because we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would like, yeah. And
the
obviously
final
we had our
continue
son.
to run.
And he did tell you guys that he had the means.
Yep.
He
And
wanted to put a
Correct.
roof on her house. I didn't know if it was like miscommunication, but.
I don't know if we can send something that was strong worded or whatever, but I say we continue the fine and I guess, can we ask them to be here? You know, and
you
I
can.
think she, it
And then
sounded like
maybe
she was
impose a-
planning on it, but she was sick. So.
I'd be nuts. I'm just, yeah, I don't think we've been moving along, and I agree with Ben in regards to what's going on with the insurance industry and this roof, and that kind of looks like to me maintenance, not so much.
I've been here for 14 years. That house, she hasn't been in that house the whole time. It's sat for quite a while, but that roof's been here longer than me. So that roof is.
And this is the
very old.
challenge, and this is what sucks. And there are a number of people, no matter what, it's crappy to say, but they may or may not have the means to do a full replacement of a roof. That's probably a $24,000 roofing job. And if she gets $5,000 from insurance, I'll be shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's going to be maintenance. Yeah.
And if somebody has the means, there's nothing saying that they can't replace the roof and still go after and file the insurance claim.
Mhm.
You're exactly right.
So if we impose a $4,500 lien, the fine doesn't continue on top of that lien.
I would think it would.
I don't know, I'm asking the town.
Yeah, I would think it would continue to run
Okay,
till
I think
till
you're
she
talking about a
complies.
different case.
excuse me?
The 4,500 was for the previous
Oh.
case.
No, it's 4,500 on this as well.
This is Martorella, right?
Oh,
21
okay,
owners.
okay. Yeah, this is running.
Okay. So an option here is to impose a $4,500 lien and continue the fine of $50 per day. That's,
Do we have to state the dollar amount of the lien? If the fine is continuing to run, I would think we would just place a lien on the property.
It's more so us placing the lien and filing it, because once we do, then it goes into the purview of town council.
Right.
And
But you would need the amount.
okay.
Right.
And the document could say it's continuing to accrue.
Okay.
is there, Chair would entertain a motion to that if anyone would like to make it.
I'll try it again.
Go ahead, Mr. Gonzalez.
Sanchez, but I'll leave it at that.
I'll help you.
Okay. And in regards to case 21-0121, Madeline Martorella, in violation of section 34-20, 34-19, sub 9, C, roof and disrepair, that we motion to record the lien and to continue the fine until the home is in compliance.
That's good. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Emily, you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next case would be 210375 Malcolm Allison,
Yes, he's working on his fence.
fence and disrepair.
He's making some progress.
That's a lot of fence.
That's a long fence.
So,
Big fence.
yes, I had to take 2 photos for you. Mr. Allison,
Wow.
Sergeant Allison wasn't able to make the meeting tonight. But I did speak with him about the front fence. That's why I don't have him in compliance. So the back is done. Just for the record, he dropped off his permit today. I pulled it out of the garbage can and gave it to you, Lubeth. That's what they haven't put him in. Sorry, the bin, whatever you call it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I caught that.
Wow.
I caught the garbage can. I'm sorry, it's a bin.
Glad
Show
you
it to you.
clarified that.
So he will work on getting the rest of the front fence he was doing himself.
Okay.
What took him so long, like the permit's not the issue, but is the AT&T, we had a different contact on there and they've had it updated. So they took a while to reach back out to him to tell him that, and now we've updated our paperwork as well. So he just has to do that. And I had mentioned to him the next meeting was December 8th, and it kind of sounded like that is what he would get it done by the 8th. So
Okay.
if we could just give him a little more time,
Yeah.
he said he would take care of it.
Okay.
It's a lot of fence.
Is there a
He's been
motion?
making progress and doing well.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm on the motion.
I'm impressed.
If I'm reading this, this is case number 21-0375,
Yes.
Malcolm Allison, section 34-19, sub 9, D, 34-20, fence and disrepair around entire property. Still not in compliance. We may impose a fine, and that the homeowner, I guess, appear for our December 8th meeting for the progress and finish of his.
Okay. So you find the property in violation,
Correct.
wanted to come to the December 8th meeting to give us our progress or their progress. And you do want to impose a fine
May.
or a fine of how much per day may be imposed?
We
Or you-
voted,
or you-
continue,
Or you
continue,
just want to continue?
just continue.
Okay.
Apologize.
You okay with that, Emily?
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
But if he's in compliance, he doesn't have to come to the meeting.
Yes.
Right.
If he
That's
comes
what I
into
told him.
compliance, he doesn't have to come to the meeting.
Okay.
That's right. Okay, new cases, 210409, David and Ellen
Redowig,
Bredewig,
yes.
tree overgrown and hanging too low to the roadway.
On July 8th of 2021, I issued the property located at 7546 Palm Road a violation for the tree being overgrown and it's hanging too low to the roadway, section 121-86C. Nobody's reached out to me. So therefore, on October 12th of 2021, I issued the same property, 9:23 a.m. The hearing notice for today's meeting. Nobody still has contacted me in regards to the tree. They've never really ever maintained and trimmed this tree. This was an anonymous complaint at the time that you could file that. And that was the individual's, individual's concern. I did do the best I could to get a tape measure up there, and it's the lowest hanging branch that I could get to. It's about 11 feet, and our ordinance is 13 feet 6 inches.
Familiar
So,
with that.
but it's like, excuse me.
Is the property owner live there, Dana?
Yes, and
Okay. Do we need any further discussion? Chair would entertain a motion. Someone?
Sure. Find out, let's see. Based on testimony and evidence provided in case 21-0409, David and Ellen Brudewig be found in violation of section 21-86 sub C, and that they be provided until the December 8th meeting to come into compliance, or a fine of $25 a day may be imposed.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next case, 21-0416, Jason and Mary Scholl, building official remodeled, per building official, remodeled shed without permit.
So Manny has asked that we remove the case from the agenda, but in further discussion, Mr. Doney was telling us to continue it. But does that mean I give testimony in regards to the case, or we just continue it?
No, you would just continue it and hear it in December. Apparently, the owners are working with the building official to work things out, and he asked that the case not be heard tonight.
And for the record, the contractor showed up to provide testimony, and when we let him know this, I didn't see reason to make him sit through a meeting. So he left.
Okay.
When did you become aware of this, though?
Of the continuing it, or the
No,
case
the complaint.
itself? The complaint? Oh. This one's, the date of the violation isn't going to be entirely helpful because I issued, the violation was July 27th, but this one's been ongoing for much, much longer because there was back and forth communication with the building official, and
I'm sorry, I don't understand why we would just automatically continue this.
Well, your building official asked you to, number one, and number two, they had a witness here and he was sent off. So I don't know how you can present the case in their absence.
Well, but the
I have a
property's
letter.
either in violation or it's not.
I realize that, but you don't need to hear it at the moment until, I mean, the building official asked that it not be heard.
I've just learned, I don't know how that works, so that's why I just.
Well, I certainly don't understand it.
The building
But
official is
it's
the one
your,
that made
it's
me
it's
issue
your
the hearing
decision,
notice
guys.
too.
The property is in, but it sounds like the property is in violation. There's no current permit. Is that correct?
No, there's no permit, but there was a letter in the file and they're working with the structural, I think, engineer or something like that, and the contractor.
It
And
sounds like
so they
still
were
there is a
in talks with the
violation.
building official.
But they're asking us to
Just continue it to
continue
December.
or give them more time for
Okay,
what
well,
they need.
so is there a motion to continue? Or you want us to just forget it?
I think we just deferred if we're not
Yeah,
hearing
I would just say
testimony.
we'll continue it and it'll be on our December agenda and they'll get an order for today's meeting, letting them know that it's been continued to December.
You're not forgetting it. It's just if they don't,
I was being sarcastic.
yeah, well,
Will they be appear, or obviously they need to appear December 8th?
I would probably say if they don't come into compliance, maybe their contractor would come back.
Well, then we have to take up the case if we're going to say if they don't come into compliance.
we just need
Well, if
to,
they come into compliance, we wouldn't even hear it. It'd be
Right.
done
Yeah.
over with.
yeah, if you schedule it for December and there's no progress or whatever happens, you just hear the case and enter your order and do whatever you do.
Is there a motion to continue this case until the December 8th meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay. I think that's it. Is that it, Dana?
That is it
Okay. Is there,
until December 8th.
until December 8th. Next meeting is December 8th. Are there any board comments, suggestions, updates? Chief, Mr. Clark, anything for us? Okay,
Enjoy the holiday.
thank you for coming, you
Yeah,
guys.
happy Thanksgiving
Okay, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
and Halloween.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
And thank you guys as well.